discussion number 5. We're discussing creative partnership and opportunity pitch. Very important stuff here. It will be moderated by Ms. Colleen Douglas and also Ms. Kimala Campbell, Business Development Advisor for the Edna College of Visual and Performing Arts. On this panel, we have Ms. Renee Robinson, Film Commissioner of JAMPRO. We also have Mr. Paul Chen, Manager for Investment Relationships, Development Bank of Jamaica. We have Dr. Meryl Borrow Magnan, and she's from the Creative Industries Innovation Fund Coordinator. That's her post there at the Caribbean Development Bank. We also have Miss Alexandra Borcher, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, from the Transculture Project. She's a Transculture Project Coordinator at UNESCO in Havana, and also Mr. Dimitri Dawkins, Entrepreneurship Development Specialist at Kingston Creative as well. So at this time, I hand over to both moderators. I'm not sure who will go first, but just to tell you that Colleen Douglas is she's an arts marketing communication professional with over 20 years combined experience in music publicity, radio and television production, arts and culture marketing. And Kimala is, as I said before, from the Edna College of the Visual and Performing Arts. Over to you, ladies. Let me see who will go first.
The lady will go first. Thank you so much, Debbie. Always good to see you. Thank you so much, Kingston Creative, for always championing this cause. Debbie will be slightly ashamed of herself. Kimberly, forgive her. To err is human. I'm joking with you, Debbie. Kimberly is actually a young man here at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. As she said, I am Colleen in this capacity. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications, and it is a pleasure, as always, to partner with Kingston Creative. Andrea doesn't leave us out, even when we leave ourselves out. Thank you. So, without any further ado, let me just say that funding in the creative industries, as you know, has been and perhaps is somewhat problematic, especially for the small and medium-sized enterprises. We're also accustomed to the creatives seeking funding from funding agencies or individuals, sometimes family, when they just start to really bring their ideas to life. And so what is interesting about this panel, I got very excited when speaking to Andrea about this panel, is that we now have an opportunity for creatives to experience a reverse pitch, where entities, banks, entities that support creative industries will now be pitching to you, our creatives who are online. As Debbie mentioned, my co-host is Mr. Kimberly Campbell, who I'm proud to say is a graduate of the college at the School of Arts Management in particular, and is now working here through a partnership we have with JBDC. We call it the SBDC at the Edna Manley College. Kimberly, welcome to this forum.
Hi, Colleen. Thanks. Thanks for that introduction. So I'm going to be doing a bit introduction of the SBDC. So here at the SBDC, we help creatives such as you to speak the business language so that you can get a good grasp of how to do business and developing business goals and the processes that us as creative need to, forge ahead in this difficult time. Especially we're in the middle of COVID, we need to look beyond COVID. So at the SBDC, we have 14 different locations over the around the country. And specifically at Edna Manley, we offer services in ideation, strategic planning, business modeling, and we have other services and opportunities, including business consultation, entrepreneurship services, and training. But just to simply put it, we at the SBDC, the 14 SBDC, and specifically at Edna Manley, we're here to help creatives to build business, build profitable business, turning these simple ideas into something sustainable. So for
Kimberly, before you throw, because Kimberly clearly just did his pitch of SBDC at Edna, I wanted to use the opportunity though to introduce our panelists. Our very well qualified and competent panelists, starting with Miss Renee Robinson, I'm not introducing them in any particular order for presentation, just introducing them to you before they do their pitch. Miss Renee Robinson is the Film Commissioner of Jamaica and a multilingual orange economy expert, content strategist, and thought leader. She has worked in Canada, Europe, USA, Africa, and the Caribbean in film, television, digital content, and the arts and culture. She has an MA, MBA in Communications and Cultural Policy with a specialization in telecom regulation and arts management from York University and a BA in Art Studio and Art History from Williams College. We then have, I'd ask Kimberly to share with me, so you could go ahead and introduce Alexandra Borcher.
Our next panelist is Alexandra Borcher. She is a professional in intergovernment cooperation in the area of culture. She holds a bachelor degree in international relations and a master's degree in tourism valorization of cultural heritage. She has worked with UNESCO cultural sector since 2015 in the management of cultural programs and the coordination of emergency response operations. She has been working in the Secretariat of the UNESCO Convention related to the World Cultural and National Heritage and the diversity of cultural expression since August 2021. She is currently the coordinator of the Transcultural Program within the UNESCO Regional Office of Culture in Havana.
And we move over. I am sometimes not sure if I'm muted or not. We move over to Dimitri Dawkins, who is an entrepreneur and investor with a strong passion to create solutions for a better tomorrow. He serves as managing director at Graph Ventures, a venture capital firm focused on scaling Caribbean-based businesses. His background includes a mix of IT, sales, business development, and he has worked with industry associations to promote technology adoption and business development across the Caribbean.
Up next, we have Paul Chen. Paul Chen is the manager of investor relations of the Development Bank of Jamaica Limited. Paul has served of several years' experience in the financial sector, spanning retail and corporate lending and commercial branch operation, credit card operation, deposit insurance, and micro, small, and medium enterprise lending and development. He is also a trained teacher and has lectured on entrepreneurship at the UWI and the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. He's also a Justice of the Peace for the parish of Kingston. St. Andrew.
Thank you, Kimberly. And our final panelist that we'll introduce is Dr. Mariel Barra-Megan, who is a coordinator of the Cultural Industries Innovative Fund at the Caribbean Development Bank. She is a Fulbright scholar, social entrepreneur, arts management consultant, and visual artist. She has worked across the Caribbean, in the US, and in Africa in cultural programming and as a consultant in the creative industries. She also founded the Caribbean in Transit in 2010, a nonprofit with a volunteer team of over 33 professionals operating across 13 countries, spearheading the production of an open access peer-reviewed journal, arts festival, and research projects. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to now through to, we will actually start with you, Dr. Barra-Megan. Let's start with you as you pitch to our creatives.
Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be here. The Cultural and Creative Industries Innovation Fund is a pilot project that has been spearheaded by the Caribbean Development Bank with a budget of $2.6 million to fund programming that addresses the gaps in the sector. So we take an evidence-based approach to our programming where we really listen to the creatives in the sector and design programming that meets their needs. As such, we have designed a series of accelerator programs under our 5 priority subsector areas, including visual arts. So we will be offering an MFA and CVQ, Caribbean Vocational Qualification, in visual arts through our executing partners in the region. So you have that to look forward to apply to this program. We will also be offering a parallel program in Haiti, where we will have a Haitian specialization in visual arts, and they will partner with our their Caribbean counterparts. Additionally, we'll be offering accelerator programs that will become university programs in festival tourism, festivals and carnivals, the digitization of music, and animation education. So overall, through the over 16 accelerator programs that we will be offering throughout the region, we will be catering to over 400 creatives within the region. So this is an opportunity to really develop yourselves, to further qualify yourselves in areas that are really critical for the growth of the region. Additionally, we offer what is called the SIF Community of Practice. And that is a platform for networking. It's a platform for partnering with your peers, but it's also a platform where you have the opportunity to take advantage of free resources as well, in the form of training programs. So for example, we have done consultancies through the SIF where we provide an online grant writing program resource, and perhaps some of the persons even on this panel have taken that program. We also have an intellectual property suite of resources that will be offered, including an intellectual property toolkit for festivals and carnivals, one for indigenous fashion, and coming up, one for animation, the animation sector and the visual arts sector as well. So the resources will keep rolling because each of our grantee projects that have already received grants have agreed to develop all kinds of resources under the SIF Community of Practice, which will then be offered to you free of charge. And so all you have to do is register up to our database or to our SIF consultant directory. And through this, we will gain access to you to share all of these resources. You can reach out via sif@caribbank.org. We also have the website caribbank.org/SIF. Thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing. That's caribbank.org. And we move straight to you, Renee, for your pitch.
Great. Thank you, Colleen, and thanks, Kimberly. And hello to my fellow panelists, and also to all of you who are out there participating in the Kingston Creative Culture Forum this week. I'm sure it's been an excellent day full of lots of content, full of everything that you need. I actually have a 30-page resource deck, which I am going to share with the organizers, and that will be sent out, I hope, to all of you who are registered. And what this includes is all of the various programs and initiatives that are available either through JAMPRO or through our support partners. So my role as the Film Commissioner of Jamaica is to help to support and advance and advocate for the development of the industry in Jamaica. We do a lot of initiatives that are related to investment readiness, to export preparedness, as well as to business development and growth and advocacy of the industry. But the three things that I really want to focus on today are the talent programs that we work on with our partners and our stakeholders, on the fiscal incentives that are available, and then finally on some of the investment readiness programs that we've been offering. The first, many of you are familiar with JAFTA Propeller, I would imagine. So we offer a variety of talent programs with either financially supporting or programmatically supporting our partners. A lot of it is with JAFTA, and I want to encourage everyone out there, join your industry association. It is through these industry associations that a lot of this information about what is available becomes dispersed to the general public. So join JAFTA, join JAN, join Women in Film and Television with JA, join Kingston Creative, join all of the industry associations that are out there, join their mailing lists. This is how you get this information. So we offer we partner on JAFTA Propeller, on the Film Lab program with the British Council, on the BOSS program, which we did with the World Bank. We have a program with the CDB, with Marielle, with the SIF community, and that's also relating to the animation industry, developing a business model for the region. We have a program with, Alessandra, you're going to be speaking about Transcultura as well. So we're working with the Transcultura team to develop another offering through that. And so a lot of these programs, they are all The key thing behind them is that they're all issued through open call. Film Lab is open right now. So there is an open call that is available to all participants. All persons can apply for this. There's a transparent selection process, and the participants who are selected now have access to the various benefits that are available through these programs. So we want to make sure that the availability is there and the access is there. And again, as I mentioned, I'm going to share this full resource deck, which has all the information about all of these programs, how to apply, who to contact for them, and what they're looking for when you apply, what you need to be able to present in order to be eligible for that. So I really encourage you to look out for that download. I also want to talk a little bit about the incentives that are available. The Productive Inputs Relief, which is offered through the Fiscal Incentives Act. It's for Jamaican companies, creative industry companies. So you can apply to benefit from this. And what it does is it allows you to have duty-free importation of your tools of trade. So this is really important for artists, musicians, persons with production companies, with animation studios. So if you're bringing in any equipment that is related to your business, once you are a member of the Entertainment Registry, these are some of the benefits that are available to you. And this is done through the Ministry of Culture. So JAMPRO will work with the Ministry of Culture to make sure that these opportunities are available to the companies that apply, are eligible and qualify to be a part of this entertainment registry. And again, within this deck that I'll share, it has all of the information about who is eligible, how to apply, what you need, what is the process. All of that is going to be in that deck. And then the final thing I want to just share with you before we move on is some of the investment readiness programs that we've been targeting over the past couple of years. I mean, we recognize that it's hard to access financing, and it's also difficult for not just the access to financing, but for making that match between what a creative company is presenting and what an investor or a financier is looking for and is using to assess. And I'm sure Dimitri is going to be speaking a lot about that later. But how we think about it is that these are two different languages. There is the language that the creatives are speaking, and there is the language that the business people are speaking. And JAMPRO's role is really to be a translator and to help to create those opportunities where we're able to translate what those languages and allow people to speak to each other and to connect and to facilitate those meetings. So we do a variety of business to business initiatives. And through these initiatives, we identify investment-ready, commercially viable creative economy companies, and we help them through this process of becoming ready and accessible to speak and to pitch to international, both local and international investors, financiers, and these could be private or public. A lot of that type of resources. These resources are available, but we have found that many times our creatives are speaking one language and our business people are speaking another. So again, these are some of the various opportunities. So there's the talent programs that are out there. And again, you do this through your industry association. There are the incentives that are available through the ministry. And then there's other business development and business access opportunities that are available to creatives through JAMPRO. So I will leave it there at that. And I look forward to sharing the resource package with you guys. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Renee. Up next, we have Alexandra Borcheve, the coordinator of the Transcultural Program. Please help me welcome Alexandra.
Thank you so much, and likewise, it's a pleasure to be with you to briefly tell you about this program, which is a 4-year program which has been launched by UNESCO with the financial support of the European Union. Which aims at building bridges. It focuses on youth on the Caribbean, and its main objective is to facilitate, in a way, cultural integration within the Caribbean and with the European Union. The program is based on 4 pillars, all of which provide opportunities for youth in the Caribbean. So the first one is the establishment of a regional cultural training hub. So you're going to see it's a truly transversal program because it covers different components of culture. So the establishment of a regional cultural training hub. And actually, as of now, there is a call for applications, which is open on our website, for young professionals, young cultural professionals, to participate in free courses related to, in particular, to the cinema industry, the cinema and the TV industry. The second component concerns startup and incubators. We believe that capacity building is good, is great, but we need to go further, especially now, especially in the post-COVID era, especially when we're heading towards the new normal. And so we aim at creating opportunities. Like, what do you do with that knowledge once you have it? And how do we create those connections that I was mentioning before? So we have different initiatives at this level, but basically one of those, for example, which was mentioned, but we have others, is the provision of grant proposal writing courses. And other activities which are supposed to help young people to build or to strengthen their own business in the cultural and creative industries. Then the third aspect relates to twinnings and joint actions for cultural exchange and cooperations. That means, once again, creating connections. These are not the traditional twinnings that you would think of, like city to city. These are people to people twinnings. It has been said a lot during today, but we do believe in culture not as an end in itself, but as a mean towards something else, towards something bigger, towards development, towards socioeconomic opportunities. And then the last aspect, the last pillar, is cultural sustainable tourism. So here again, we aim at reinforcing capacities on tourism management, basically site management, branding tourism destinations, creating routes. So with the overall idea to understand that the economy of a site is the economy of a territory. So there as well, there's a lot of potential. So yes, this is a program. As I said, it covers the 17 countries which are members of CARICOM, CARIFORUM, and OECS. And yes, please visit our webpage where these opportunities are presented. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.
And thank you. We are going to go straight to Mr. Borcheve.
Hi, good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, panelists, fellow panelists. Good afternoon to our listeners out in cyberspace. So my role this afternoon is to provide information on the products and services provided by the Development Bank of Jamaica. This presentation is in fact timely because the DBJ currently has 3 very interesting products which were launched just last week, Wednesday, and these products have started to gain a significant amount of traction in the market. So I will be focusing on these 3 products this afternoon. But let me tell you a little bit about the DBJ. The Development Bank of Jamaica is a company which is owned by the government of Jamaica, and DBJ's primary responsibility or role is to provide capacity building services as well as financial support services for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So in March of this year, the Honorable Minister of Finance announced in Parliament the provision of a $60 billion SERV, what was called a SERV program, Social and Economic Recovery and Vaccine Program, which provided funds totaling some $60 billion to Jamaicans for COVID relief and COVID recovery. Of that amount, $3 billion has been allocated to a special program which provides loans and a grant facility for Jamaican businesses. So I have a very short PowerPoint presentation which will outline the features of each product, as well as provide you with information on or contact information for not just me, but the DBJ team as well. So if you give me a moment, I'll just pull up. So are you seeing my screen? There we go. So that's me, and this is my contact information, email and cell phone, as well as switchboard line. So as mentioned, in March of this year, the GOJ provided funds towards MSMEs recovery from COVID-19. And as I mentioned earlier, the product was launched in last week, 15th of September. So let's jump right in. So the program involves 2 loan facilities and a grant facility. Now, the grant facility is being marketed as a Go Digital grant, and this grant is expected to provide MSMEs with funding to digitize their operations. The grant is for $300,000, and it is open to MSMEs, MS, micro, and small enterprises, and that is those with annual revenue of less than $75 million. Go Digital voucher can be utilized for businesses to get their website, convert to digital payroll systems, online banking, set up their e-commerce areas, market of goods and services online. And there are significantly more features that this product will bring. Ineligible activities involve purchasing of equipment, staff salaries, taxes, construction, debt payment, and so on. Then when we look at the 2 loan facilities, we have the Go Digital loan, which has a loan amount of $800,000 at 2%. This is the lowest interest rate that you will find anywhere in any product in Jamaica. And this is open to companies with annual revenues of below 425 million. And this amount is really to distinguish companies from being large. So anything over $425 million, you're considered a large enterprise. This facility can be granted for up to 3 years, and you are entitled to a 3-month moratorium on principal payments. The facility can be utilized for digital transformation services, e-commerce, digital payment solutions, and different business applications, including hardware and software. Now, the big boy of the lot is the MSME recovery loan. And this facility goes up to $10 million at an interest rate, at a very competitive interest rate, I might add, of 5% per annum. Again, the facility is open to micro, small, or medium-sized enterprises. Any corporation with revenues in excess of 425 million would not qualify. The facility gives a pretty long tenure based on what you will generally find in the financial market, up to 8 years, and you can access up to 1 year, a 1-year moratorium on principal repayment. Now, the interesting feature about this particular product is it will allow you to consolidate your debts. This is one of the most interesting features. So you can actually refinance high interest business loans, business overdrafts, and business credit cards. You can actually use it to assist you in purchasing real estate, working capital, as well as for new capital expenditure. So these products are the newest products in DBJ's suite, and they can be, information on these products can be found at any one of these sites, the DBJ website directly. There's a Think Big E, DBJ CEF, which is the DBJ's credit enhancement facility, which is a partial guarantee facility. DBJ voucher, this is where you would access the Go Digital voucher, and you can get more information on the program generally by logging on to dbjserve.com. So I will leave these up for 10 more seconds, and then I will hand back to the moderators.
And we will also share, because the 10 seconds by the time I say we will share is gone.
It's gone.
Thank you so much, Paul. So we have one more pitch before we go. We invite you. By the way, the platform is open for you to ask questions, express any concerns, anything you may want to clarify with the presenters as we move to Dimitri.
All right. Afternoon, everyone. I think it's probably best that I'm the last panelist presenting, because what we're doing at Kingston Creative is really incorporating all of these products and services available from our partners for creatives. So as far as our problem, I mean, there's so much noise in the media and in public as far as benefits that are available to entrepreneurs, to creatives, different programs, but it's hard to figure out which one is the best for you. It's hard to figure out how you should really approach your application process. It's hard to figure out how you should stagger your growth or alignment to these different programs available. And that's what we're trying to do here at Kingston Creative. Kingston Creative is a community where for creatives, we're for cultural and creative industry growth. And we're committed to growing this in perpetuity for the future, and especially over the next 3 years through our programs. We have different programs available for different types of cultural and creative entrepreneurs. Quite a large range is available on kingstoncreative.org. Let me go through a few of them. We have our incubator program for idea stage entrepreneurs, or those just starting out that, want to create a small community with others who are also just starting their business, testing a business model, seeing what pricing works, seeing what adjustments need to be made to your products or services, etc. And maybe you need a business address at the Creative Hub or having a central point to work from. That's what our incubator program is for. We also have our accelerator program that's targeted at those who are a little further down the line. Maybe you know that you have a great product, you have paying customers already, but you want to expand into new markets or scale up. And our accelerator program is going to be having more advanced training. It's going to help you to look at how to do market research, how to do more online marketing, improve your sales, cover your admin and back office things such as that accounting, financing, topics like that, and just be very hands-on with you. Renee had mentioned earlier about financing. We're creating multiple events for financing opportunities throughout the years, and especially we have our pitch night coming up in November, where applications will be opening next week. So that way you can go on to Kingston Creative, submit your pitch deck, and be able to present to real investors to get investment for your project or business going forward. We have capacity building services with other entities. I mean, we're always working with Edna Manley as well as other incubator and accelerator programs, including having our own incubator summit later this year to make sure all business development organizations locally and internationally have some insight on what the cultural and creative industry entrepreneurs need and how they can better serve that audience. I know we're running behind time, so I want to quickly catch up, but basically I want to reemphasize that, hey, we're here as a partner. This is a community. We want you to come to us at Kingston Creative to help you identify the best programs, to help you access those programs, to help you with formalization and being able to leverage all of these benefits, products, services available to you locally here in Jamaica or across the Caribbean. And we just have constant applications open for these different programs available on our website at kingstoncreative.org. That bridging that gap between the language, we know that you're an expert in your field. We know that you're a creative. We know that pushing culture and creativity is part of just being Jamaican as is. But then the other, what may seem as very boring stuff or insurmountable aspects as far as financing, business development, jumping into new markets, things like that, is very audacious and scary. And we just want to make it as simple for you to access these opportunities, leverage it in your company, and achieve the greatness that you are destined to achieve, right? So we're here as a friend. Contact us. You can email me at dimitri@kingstoncreative.org or apply to our different programs online. And we're looking forward to having a conversation.
Wow, I know why you were left for last. I did not deliberately, Dimitri, but I think it was the most appropriate thing to do. having listened to everyone. I am looking for questions in the audience, and I'm also seeing whether or not Kimberly had any questions to throw generally to our panelists. I have to be mindful, panelists, forgive us, we're running a little bit behind time. So we may ask that we do not take any more than 1 minute to respond, if that is possible, and we will, Kingston Creative will facilitate and the conversation continuing hereafter. Kimberly, did you have a question for our panelists?
Yes. First question: what are some of the recommendations you can give creative businesses to prepare them to take advantage of these opportunities? We can start with Renee.
Sure. Thanks, Kimberly. Well, I had started out saying that in order to become prepared for some of these opportunities and initiatives, definitely the networking side of it. I mean, first, to even become aware, as you guys would have heard, there's a whole slew of initiatives that are out there. So even becoming aware of when the deadlines are and what the eligibility is and what the program scope might look like and whether or not this is the right fit for you, that comes from the networking. So that's the first thing that I want to make sure that I'm encouraging people to do in order to prepare for these types of opportunities. The second thing that I think is really important is to deeply, Dimitri had said it, that you guys are experts in your particular scope of work, in your particular subject matter. You are that expert. But understanding the deeper industrial trends that are happening within your industry, both locally and internationally, is going to start leveraging a little bit more of that depth of knowledge. So understanding what's happening from the business perspective of your industry, and not just what it is that you are doing in your particular role or what you are doing in your particular company, but understanding the entire macro ecosystem of following the money for these particular types of monetization. Like, where is the money coming from and where does it go, and how does it get how does that money get manipulated? So understanding those business trends and understanding like what is motivating money to function the way that it functions within your particular industry is one of the key things in becoming prepared and accessing and becoming successful in these types of opportunities. And then the third thing that I will say to be successful at leveraging these opportunities is, again, understanding understanding that these are different languages. So there is going to be, and I don't believe that it is necessary for creatives to be able to do it all by yourself. I don't agree with that at all. But what it is required is for you to be able to build a team around you so that you have persons who are on your creative project team that can handle and understand and can advance each of these different types of opportunities. So create that expertise around you for the things that are not your area of expertise. That's fine. We're not expecting, I know people hybridize, you are this hybrid, that, and yes, that's great, but it's not realistic. What is more realistic is that we actually are allowing persons, like a cohort of professionals who are in fact arts managers, who understand both the creative and the business, and that you are also supplementing your team with persons who can give you advice on taxes and on finances and on accounting and all of these other things that might not be your area of expertise. So those are the three things that I would say for sure. Get those things in place as you start accessing these types of business opportunities.
Thank you, Renee. And it's important at this point to say that Edna Manley College offers a degree in arts management. ICSUE, who is a partner on this event as well, has quite a number of degrees in the field of creative and cultural industries and music business management. So there are institutions available, great ones in the Caribbean for us to have our training. We have 4 minutes before we wrap, and so Kimberly, forgive me, but I'll use the older woman privilege and ask all our panelists to use 1 minute that you would share to Dimitri mentioned a pitch night. Give one idea to a creative who will be pitching something that's really important for them to prepare for this kind of a pitch. And we will start with you, Alessandro. No, Dimitri, I leave it for last though.
Yes, thank you so much. So I would say that what is important is to think big. So map partners, map options that you have at the national, regional, and international level. And then think of activities and of projects which can have a multiplier effect or a transformative effect. So this is what I would say. Thank you.
And thank you for, Renee, we just finished with you. So perhaps Dr. Marielle, can you go next? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you. I fully endorse what both Rennie and Alexandra have said. They touched on, two of my key points, so that's great. I would say that really, if you're really going into the business world in a serious way, ensure that you have considered the intellectual property aspect of your product and service. So consider whether you need to register a trademark, register your copyright, what is it that you need to register, and build that into your business plan and your marketing plan so that you can grow in a secure fashion and a systematic way, especially when you're expanding and starting to think about international markets. That copyright protection, that intellectual property component is really, really critical in guarding guarding your culture, guarding your products and your service. So.
And Paul? Is Paul there?
Oh, yes, I am. Thanks. What I would say going into a pitch in November, I would put two things on the table. One, you need to have your business registered. Too often in Jamaica, we see formalization as a big issue. Small businesses tend not to want to register their operations because they want to keep flying under the radar. That's not going to work for you in the long term. And secondly, if you're going into a pitch, you are pitching yourself. Be passionate about what your product is or your service is. It's not about your company at that point in time. Investors will look at taking a chance with you because you're in front of them. How you deliver your product, the passion, the way you speak about it, how you present yourself is what will determine whether or not they are interested in you. So show up and show up in a big way.
Thank you so much. My apologies, Renee, and then we go over to you, Dimitri.
Well, I think I mentioned the things that I definitely wanted to mention, and I can't add to anything that my fellow panelists have said. Everything that has been said so far is exactly the right advice. So yeah, well, actually, the one thing I would say if you're going into a pitch, rehearse it the night before with someone trusted, for sure. Spend a little time and do that practice so that you understand how you present. How do you appear? How do you present when you are pitching to someone? So that's the only tidbit that I would add to what my fellow panelists have already said.
Thank you. And Dimitri, I'm being asked that you remind us of the date of that pitch as well as you give your one-day tip.
Wow, I believe it's November 26th, but it's the last week of November, to be sure, for sure. Okay, so tips, following on from the passion, really and truly, investors are opportunists and investors are looking for other opportunities to support. So what you really and truly have to do is to demonstrate that you can leverage opportunity. And a great example of that is just utilize existing programs and grant funding. For example, right now, if you were to apply to the DBJ products just shared as far as the VTA and the SERV program, that's $500,000 worth of grant funding. Plus, say you were to apply to Kingston Creative's Accelerator program, you have another 650,000 Jamaican dollars worth of benefits. So for instance, just without your having to put up any cash, you can access $1 million worth of funding that you can then go to an investor and say, hey, I have this available. I need some matching cash to enable this growth. And so therefore you can demonstrate that you really can leverage opportunities available and you can put in the work ahead of time, even if you don't have any cash on hand now.
Thank you. Kimberly, do you have one tip?
Yes, I do. My recommendation is to understand the problem that you're trying to solve. A lot of times we tend to fall in love with our ideas, but when you're operating a business, you're solving a problem. So identifying a problem that you want to solve and meeting with those people who are having those problems to understand, if the solution that you're recommending makes sense, and have conversation with other persons who have gone through the process already. Get a support system so you can have people who you can rely on. I have one more thing to add. The first 10 persons who send an email to emc.edu get 2 free consultation for the next 3 months.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being kind. It's actually sbdc@emc.edu.jm. And in the same breath, you can engage the Edna Manley College through info@emc.edu.jm. We're on website Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. I want to say a special thank you to all our panelists, Dimitri Dawkins, Paul Chen, Dr. Mariel Barrow, Megan, Renee Robinson, and Alexandra Borcher. Thank you so much for sharing with us in this platform. Thank you so much, Kingston Creative, for this opportunity. And we invite everyone to tune into the networking sessions, to the expo as well is there for you to enjoy as we continue our day-to-day here. Thank you. I'm Colleen Douglas, and it has been my pleasure sharing this section.
Thank you so much, Colleen Douglas, and thank you so much to Mr. Camellia Campbell. And yes, Colleen, you're right. I did make a big error, and thank you so much for correcting me there. It's Mr. Camellia Campbell did such a phenomenal job in moderating the session. Both Colleen and Camellia are from the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. Thanks to the panelists, Ms. Renee Robinson, Film Commissioner of JAMPRO, Mr. Paul Chin, Manager of Investment Relationships, Development Bank of Jamaica, Dr. Mariel Barrow-Mignon, Creative Industries Innovation Fund Coordinator at the Caribbean Development Bank, Ms. Alexandra Borcher. She is from UNESCO, the Transculture Project Coordinator there from UNESCO, and also Mr. Dimitri Dawkins, Entrepreneurship Development Specialist for Kingston Creative.